Guys, this podcast is brought to you by our friends at Wrestling Collector Shop. Make sure when you need to add new figures to your FigFed lineup, you head over to WrestlingCollectorShop.com.
Started by collectors for collectors around the globe, Wrestling Collector Shop has been serving fans the latest and greatest in wrestling action figures since 2002. Whether you're looking for basics, elites, or ultimates, Wrestling Collector Shop should be your first stop the next time you're looking for wrestling figures.
So make sure to go to WrestlingCollectorShop.com and use promo code Swoggle to save yourself 10% on your entire order. That's WrestlingCollectorShop.com. Use promo code Swoggle and save yourself 10% on the newest and greatest wrestling figures out there.
That's more than 9%.
It's a state of affairs. Guys, I jinxed it. I jinxed the goddamn game. The Milwaukee Brewers are up 2-0. I started the record. Shoes was not in a great mood because the Mets were not doing well. I got a little yuck out of it. And now the Brewers lost 4-2. And now he's happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a state of affairs. I'm Dylan. That's Shoes. It's our Halloween episode.
Yeah, thanks for dressing up, you goblin.
I dress up every weekend of my life.
As a ghoul.
I dress up every weekend of my life. It's part of my job. While you dress up like an asshole every day of yours. Guys, before we go any farther, this week's show is brought to you by our friends over at Wrestling Collector Shop. Head over to Wrestling Collector Shop. Type your promo code Swoggle and save yourself 10% on your entire order. 10% on your entire order. Shoes, what did we do last episode?
Last week, we gave away first time in the line, Elite 111, NHL defenseman Tony D'Angelo. And that was won by another Tony, Anthony D'Andrea, over on our Facebook page. So thank you, Anthony. Enjoy your Tony D'Angelo. And this week, my friend,
what do we got?
Elite 111.
Okay.
Adrenaline in my soul. My favorite ice cream's Rocky Road. Cody Rhodes, Elite 111. He's apparently really popular now. So
it's a hell of a figure. I love that figure too.
I'm even going to give it away. This is going to be on Twitter this week. So make sure you're following us at AffairsPod everywhere on social media. That way you can get your chance to win this Elite Cody Rhodes and Dylan.
Yes.
We're also doing another giveaway.
We just announced it. Announced
last week.
Yes.
We are giving away a set, I should say.
I can't believe
Dynamite
this.
Kid, Davey Boy Smith, Wrestling Collector Shop exclusive big rubber guys with the blue tights. All you got to do is subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/Dylan Postl and tweet us a picture that you're subscribed using the hashtag AffairsPod because we couldn't think of anything wittier.
Guys,
once we hit 10,000 subscribers, someone's going to win. So it might as well be you. Subscribe today.
Exclusive to Wrestling Collector Shop, the Blue Tights British Bulldogs. Incredible big rubber guys. Hey, Shoes. My friend Joe.
Yeah.
What was last episode? What was the battle? What was Dylan, the battle, buddy?
You know, I always say I like to look to the future because nothing good happens in the past. That's why we have had all our memories wiped. Vodka and concussions. None of us remember anything anymore.
Guys, you came through. And You
and
voted.
you listened to me at the beginning of the last
You
episode where I
voted.
said, give Dylan a pity vote. And you did.
That's what we're
So-
going with. That's what we're going with. Not because you had guys. Last episode was Team NES, Team Super NES, which was me, versus Team Sega Genesis, which was Rotten Joe, and the winner of that poll by a trouncing, an absolute trouncing, 62% to 38%.
Which is still less than I got you on from the episode before. But yeah, keep going. Go ahead with your trouncing.
Trouncing. Super Nintendo won the episode, which brings my record to 8-2-1.
No, not even remotely close. It's now.
My record in the tally books.
The record is
8-2-1.
That's your area code, not your record, you idiots. The standings
Somebody
as
say
now.
my record is 8-2-1.
It is now 6 wins for me, 5 wins for you, and 2 draws overall. So I am still in the lead, but now you guys can go back to voting for me.
Guys, we had some fun reviews, some fun comments on the show. I hate doing this, Joe. I hate doing this. But the winner for me, once again.
It's got to be Mr. Stay Puffed.
Goddamn Mr. Stay Puffed. Got me again. Left a comment on the last episode on YouTube. Mr. Stay Puffed. Despite the fact that he thinks Dixie Kong's name is Trixie, Dylan 100% is correct.
Which is true, by the way.
Yep. Is 100 correct with Super Nintendo. I think Super Nintendo had more approachable game library and launched a lot of big franchises still going today. And Shu's discounting how good Super Mario World is? Touch grass. Without that, we wouldn't have Yoshi. Yoshi is one of my favorite Mario, world. Mario, what would it be called? Like,
basically, I'm the Yoshi. I'm the Yoshi of the Major Pod.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
No, that's it. You have Mario, you have Luigi, you have Toad and the Princess, and then you have like your offshoot characters.
What would I be? Bowser? No, I'm Wario. I'm Wario for sure.
You would be Wario.
I'm Wario.
Because you're at odds with people now.
Yeah. No, just Matt.
Yeah.
Like Luigi, Brian.
But I would
really
be Yoshi because I think people think of me as like the lovable sidekick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always made The Simpsons. I used to call it The Simpsons, and I said I was the Bumblebee man.
You're always Bumblebee man.
You are the Krusty the Clown.
100%. 100%.
And Kinnick is Mr. Teeny.
Who's that?
Krusty's little monkey assistant.
I like that one. Yep. Oh, guys. There we go. That needs to be a shirt. There we go.
So I picked one of our comments too, and this one was also off YouTube. This is from Graham of Unicorn Tacos Art, who I believe I met at Toy Hio. He's an artist who presented me with a custom figure of me as like a muscle figure from the 80s. It was very, very cool. But he says, at first I was going to give my pity vote to Mr. Dylan, do your own research, Postl. But forget that. I was a Sega kid. Sega had by far better games. Sure, Nintendo had more mainstream sales, but that is because it was geared toward little kids who didn't care about the quality of the game. Sega legit, I'm speaking here. Sega legit had straight bangers that still hold up today. And Joe didn't even mention some of the best games, like Mutant League Football, Comic Zone, Streets of Rage 2, just to name a few. Hands down, Sega. Maybe Dylan can Google some strategies on how to win an argument, because the strategies he's currently using on Ask Jeeves just aren't cutting it. Big vote for Joe.
62% of the people voted Team Dylan. That's what matters. 8-2-1 on the scoreboard, baby.
Factually incorrect.
Guys, we don't live in the past on this show. We look towards the future. And as you saw in the title of this episode, this week, in the title, it is Halloween. must watches. During this Halloween time, what are you watching? Whose draft of sorts? Whose list of sorts? Whose grouping of 5 favorite must watches during the Halloween time will get your vote at the end of the episode? The poll will be on X/Twitter. Make your voice be heard. But Joe, before we get into the battle, you're in your silly costume. I'm dressed like a normal human. But before we get into the battle, what do we have to do?
Ed break. Dylan, it is the Halloween season, and though I do not like to participate in such things anymore, I really mean the physical parts of it, like decorating and stuff like that. We're just going to tear the decorations down and throw them back in the closet.
They're going
put them
up
back
tomorrow.
under the stairs in the old basement.
October 4th, and they are going up tomorrow. I'm 4 days late, and I'm not happy.
I've never known you to be happy, so why should now be any different? But I do like to slightly partake in the seasons, and I do that by getting into some popular culture that makes me feel in tune with the season. And you're not going to see Captain Joe Shoes having a pumpkin spice latte. I just don't like pumpkin flavor, so that's the thing there. But I like media, and I've always thought of myself as a TV guy. So I'm going to start off by talking about one of my favorite Halloween traditions, and that comes to us from The Simpsons. And it is... It is entirely too difficult to pick one singular Treehouse of Horror episode. But now The Simpsons this year in November will be giving us their 35th annual Treehouse of Horror. All the different segments, all the different scenes we've seen over the years. It has become destination viewing. And honestly, I'm someone who hasn't watched The Simpsons religiously in a very long time, but I will still go out of my way to watch the Treehouse of Horror special every year. If you really want me to pick one piece of Treehouse of Horror things that I still quote all the time on the regular, it's going to be where they have like a parent-teacher meeting. It's called Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, where groundskeeper Willie gets sucked into the furnace and is killed during the parent-teacher meeting because he left a note on the thermometer saying, do not touch Willie. And Homer read it as, do not touch Willie. Good advice. And then jacked up the heat while Willie was in the boiler room. And then he attacks the kids through their dreams. And we get some really fun groundskeeper Willie stuff. But one of my all-time favorite quotable things from pop culture is, do not touch Willie. Good advice.
I knew you were going to do a Treehouse of Horrors. I knew it. Landon and I actually watch as many as we possibly can throughout the month. So we really, really like them too. My favorite Treehouse of Horrors is the one where they go virtual, like the virtual reality one.
Yeah.
Because like
Homer goes into the real world and then sees the erotic cakes.
Yeah, but then Bart joins them too, right?
Yes. Because they send Bart in on a rope to try to pull Homer back.
That's right. That's what it was.
There are 2D
not virtual reality, but real world. And I remember like as a kid, it was mind blowing how they did that.
For sure.
Like it was insane. So that like the memory of that still really, really sticks out. Man, it's a good pick. That's your 5.
It's also important to remember the cultural significance of The Simpsons that it doesn't necessarily have today. The Simpsons really aren't a critical piece of pop culture today, but the way they influenced it, the way they were the jam, that show was such a big part. And you see it even now, like today, like you still see Simpsons memes every day, Simpsons GIFs every day. Whenever you're on social media, even if you're someone who has never watched The Simpsons, I'm sure you know the Homer backing into the bushes GIF. I'm sure you know Sideshow Bob stepping on a rake GIF. Like there's just so many of those things and so many quotes and situations from The Simpsons that are just monumental pieces of meme and pop culture that it's inescapable. And while it may not mean as much today, it's important to remember the significance it did have.
All right. My number 5 pick. Hotel Transylvania. Now, is it a thought of as a Halloween film? Maybe not. I watch it every Halloween season. I really, really like it. I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan. It was really it was a typical new Adam Sandler, new era Adam Sandler movie where it's Adam Sandler and friends, obviously, with Steve Buscemi and David Spade and Kevin James. But it was just really, really fun to me. I really like it. And it's one of those new animated movies that's made for kids, but also has pops for adults in it too. I really, really like it. I like the story of it, where the daughter meets the boyfriend, and now Dracula, Adam Sandler's character, is trying to hide the boyfriend from the other monsters and make it seem like he is one. I really, really like it. The second one, really, really good too. But Hotel Transylvania is a must-watch every Halloween season for me. Obviously, with the monsters in that, it ties it all in. Have you seen it?
I've seen them both. I think there's more than 2
There's
now.
3,
I believe. Yeah, I haven't seen the third one, but I've seen the first 2. I'm an Adam Sandler apologist in a lot of ways. I love his latest Netflix movie where he voices the lizard. I think it was called
I've heard it's awesome. Maybe? I still haven't seen that one.
Bro, it's amazing. It might be Sandler's best movie in the past decade. And I love Sandler. My thing is, when we tend to generalize horror culture as Halloween, but that doesn't necessarily make it Halloween. I could sit here and say, oh, let's watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but that's not a Halloween movie. It's just a horror movie. And that's
how I am. It's exactly how I am.
We're conflating Halloween season with horror season and spooky season and trying to combine that. But my goal today was to pick Halloween-centric pieces for people to check out. And that's why with number 4, I am picking an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So if you're following along at home, season 2, episode 15, called The Shaving. And once again, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, a integral part of Adult Swim.
Come on. No, you're not. Oh, okay. Sorry. You know what? I apologize. I interrupted you. I thought you were going to say of pop culture, and I was going to flip if you would have put that on the same pedestal as The Simpsons. But
it's not on the same level as The Simpsons, but it was one of the building blocks for Adult Swim, and there was a period in the early mid-2000s where Adult Swim was one of those the cool new hip things that we're all watching. Yeah, it was. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, The Venture Brothers, C-Lab 2021, Harvey Birdman, Attorney Outlaw. I loved all those shows. I still love The Venture Brothers.
What was the interview show? What was the interview
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost. Yep.
But Aqua Teen Hunger Force was kind of like the breakout star because the characters were just so weird. It was a box of French fries named Frylock, a milkshake named Master Shake, and their companion, a uncooked bowl of meat named Meatwad. My brother is named Meatball, has been since he was a child. Obviously, if you see me, you can kind of guess how the genetics transferred over that way. But we started calling him Meat Man after that because Carl, the next door neighbor, would always look at Meatwad and be like, oh, hey there, Meat Man. So to this day, we still call my brother Meat Man. And in this episode called The Shaving, they find out that an onion spider monster has been living in their attic, and he comes downstairs on Halloween to ask if there's been any mail dropped off. And they just think he's like this weird, awkward, harmless onion monster until they actually go up to the attic to give him his mail. And he's been using it as a place to hide all the bodies that he rips apart limb from limb to get his juice. His juice is human blood that he drinks from the limbs of his victims. It is irreverent. It is absurd. And the twist at the end is just absolutely out of nowhere because they've built you up into this false sense of security with these onion monster, whose name, by the way, is Willie Nelson. So the shaving from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is available to stream on Max if you're interested, that's going to be number 4 on my list. It's one of my favorite episodes of Aqua Teen.
I won't even rebuttal to that.
Why
You
not?
dug yourself a hole. You dug yourself a hole, Joe. You ain't going to get out of that one.
I'm not, honestly, with this one, I'm trying to give, I don't necessarily know that I'm trying to win this week as much as I am trying to give you a little insight into the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. And I hope, even if I lose this week, I hope people will go check out these episodes or these shows if they've never watched before.
He's doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. You don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for this. He's pulling his bullshit again. You hear it. You see it. If you're watching the YouTube video version, you see it. You see it under that stupid mask. You see it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know something about me, you know I love 2 things. Disney and the Muppets. Disney and the Muppets. And in 2021...
This is a bad pick.
In 2021, the Walt Disney Corporation combined the 2 in the Muppets Haunted Mansion. My favorite ride at Walt Disney World, combined with the greatest IP in history being the Muppets. I absolutely love this. I didn't, it took me 2 watches to really fall in love, and it's an instant watch every Halloween season now. It's going to be at the top of the list every Halloween season. Gonzo and Pepe steal the show once again. So many random cameos like Thog and like Sweetum's cameos in it. And then the celebrity cameos, again, Danny Trejo with an amazing celebrity cameo. All of this, it brought so much of that Muppet goodness that everyone knows and loves into a Halloween special, into a movie about the greatest attraction in Walt Disney World history. Muppets Haunted Mansion is my number 4 pick. And I'll say this. I would bet a lot of you haven't seen it. I challenge you. I ask you. Check it out. Enjoy it for its Muppety goodness. Easy for me to say. Enjoy the little, what's the A word? Where it's like an inside joke. I'm not good with words.
Go ahead.
What's the word I'm talking about?
Asshole.
Anecdotes. That's probably not right.
Anecdotes are short little blurbs or stories.
It's not the word I'm thinking of. What's the word I'm thinking of, Joe?
References, callbacks.
Jokes without saying the joke, like little things that you catch.
Innuendos.
Jokes that aren't made for you to necessarily catch, but you catch them. Look out for those. Muppets Haunted Mansion. Check it out. That is my number 4 pick.
So I was
what are you
going to
say?
When this came out,
yes,
I felt like I loved it before I even watched it. And I think because I also love the Haunted Mansion.
High hopes. You had high hopes.
I had such high hopes. Like I went in.
Watch it the second time.
I don't know if I've ever sat down to watch it a second time, but I was disappointed the first time because I just had such high expectations. And I know that's my fault.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's 2 of our favorite things.
Even that last Haunted Mansion movie that they did last year, I still wanted to love it because I'm like, and it's just, it's not good.
I couldn't see it because I've heard of how bad it is.
We did it over on Car Jomez last year one week, and it just was not a good movie by any means at all. Like, it's very disjointed. It's just not good. And when it came to and it wasn't that I had super high hopes for that. I just wanted to like it. And with the Muppets, though, I'm not hardcore Muppet fan like Dylan is, but I certainly enjoy the Muppets.
Yeah.
And I certainly enjoy, same thing with Disney. I'm not the top tier level Disney fan like other people, but I'm certainly a fan. So I was very excited for this, and I ended up coming away kind of let down. And
Watch it a second time. Because
that's what I have to do.
You know what, Joe? I felt the same way. I had such high hopes. It's my favorite attraction. It's my favorite IP, like I said. And I was like, this is going to change the freaking world. And it was good. When I watched it a second time, I got again, background characters of Muppet movies make my day. Mm-hmm. Seeing Wayne and Wanda randomly, all of that stuff that's what I love. I love. And it's just that kind of thing where I really, really enjoyed it. Will Arnett is amazing in it. I loved him in it as the host. It was just, I really, really liked it overall.
So we're going to head on to me with my number 3. And this is my first live action one with real people in it. Okay. And this is an episode of a show called The Goldbergs. And the Goldbergs finished up their run. They had about a 10-season run, finished it up about 2 years ago now, probably. And for me, it was a very fun show. It wasn't necessarily always the funniest, but for someone who grew up in that era, it was very relatable to the references that are made in the show and to the way the family acts. There were a lot of similarities I could see in my own family in it. So it made it a very enjoyable show for me to watch. And in episode 1, they have an episode called Who Are You Going to Call? And it's their first crack at a Halloween 80s style episode. And I kind of look at it as a new generation's version of the Peanuts special for Halloween, where you're kind of on that cusp. The main character, Adam, is on that cusp where he's not too old to go trick-or-treating, but he's also recognizes that he wants to be cool and he wants to hang out with the cool kids. And so in this episode, his grandfather, Pops, who is a beloved character in this series, assumes they're just going to go trick-or-treating together because Pops takes him trick-or-treating every year, and he has custom Ghostbusters jumpsuits and proton packs made for them to go dressing up as. And Adam's like, "Oh,
Zack Ryder
sorry."
is in this?
No. This is...
I stopped him in his damn tracks. Let's go, baby.
So Adam decides no, Pops, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go hang out with these cool kids. And then he goes out and they just want to throw eggs and TP people's houses. And he's just not having fun. And when he gets home, he realizes, I just wish there were people who still wanted to go trick-or-treating. And there certainly is. And Pops pops out. They put on the Ghostbuster jumpsuits and they make the best out of whatever time left they have to go trick-or-treating. And I look at that as kind of the new version of the Peanuts, Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Because if you watch It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown now, it's pretty terrible. It's not a good watch, but the message is the purity of just the enjoyment of the holidays is good. And I feel like this episode of the Goldbergs gives you exactly that, but puts a more humanized touch on it, where yes, we all do want to succumb and be cool and have that level of popularity, or not just popularity, but acceptance. We want to feel accepted by our peers. At some point you do outgrow hanging out with your family or going on vacations with your parents. You want to do your own thing, but there still is time to do both and to make the most of the moments you have with those people who aren't going to always be there. At some point, yeah, there is a point where you do get too old to go trick-or-treating. I used to love to go trick-or-treating, and I never necessarily worried about how old was too old to go trick-or-treating, but I definitely trick-or-treated way into the too old territory. And yeah, I guess socially it becomes a thing what is that guy even doing? But it's just a very genuine, good messaged episode on a show that I enjoy very much. So it's the Goldbergs, season 1. Who Are You Going to Call?
Joe, you want to relate it to the Peanuts special. It's funny you
Don't
do
tell
that.
me this. Don't tell me it's right
And
here.
it's funny you do that because my number 3 pick is the 1966 classic when you were a senior in high school. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
I'll have you know I was interning at a hedge fund at that point.
This is my number 3 pick. The Peanuts holiday specials were such a huge part of my childhood. Like, thinking about them now in this house, heartfelt moment. Here we go. Sitting in this house with my grandparents. Every holiday season, this was like the kickoff. It was this, then the Thanksgiving one, and then, of course, the Christmas one. I love It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Just like, can we say the Snoopy and Woodstock interactions of any Charlie Brown special may be like the show stealers? I think they're like little short parts make them so much better. And this man, when he just takes the flying ace and like, it's just his own thing once again. I love this movie, this special. I would call it, I guess it's a special, more of a TV special. Yeah. I love it. Everyone just like getting on Linus's case about this stupid pumpkin and wanting to go to that sweet Halloween bash. But no, Linus, all he cared about was the Great Pumpkin. And I just, it's a very, very like heartfelt moment for me of like thinking about how this movie special kicked off the holiday season. Because then you know like I said, then you knew the Thanksgiving one was coming. Mm. You loved that one. Then you knew the Christmas one was coming, which, spoiler alert, we're doing this again for the Christmas season. I'm calling it now. But man, the Christmas one, I don't know if I would rank this one higher than the Christmas. Like
I don't think know if the Christmas one is the best of all of them.
Yeah, this one.
If you watch this one close. Now, when was the last time you watched this?
Probably 2 years ago.
So I watched this earlier today.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
And I always have good feelings toward it, but what I just said, minutes ago about this, it really just seems disjointed where they just, there's like 4 separate stories in this one episode.
That's what I love about it. But the Peanuts movies always had that.
I guess.
I feel like they always had that.
It's just, it wasn't what I remembered it being, I guess is the biggest issue I had with it.
I love it.
When Linus gets rewarded, I guess, for finally being able to see the Great Pumpkin, like he has no one to share it with. And to me, that is the saddest thing. Like,
hey, but if you share love in your heart, you don't need anyone else.
Listen, they call me the Lothario of loving love. And that's because just like 2 things Dylan Postl loves are the Muppets and Disney, the one thing in this life that Joe Shoes loves is love itself.
And that is why the Charlie Brown Halloween special is my number 3 pick.
I can't, I'm not going to shit on it. I don't think that's a bad pick. It's just not for me. And it's very
classic. It's a classic.
As a kid.
No, man.
Hold on.
I watched it with Landon when he was a kid. Like, it still holds up.
Just because Landon's 22 feet tall now doesn't mean he's still not a kid.
I understand that, but like when he was a kid, I watched it all the time with him.
No, but like it meant a lot to me, and like the things you're describing, like the feeling of like this being the kickoff for the whole holiday season, 100%. I'm on board with that, man.
That's why I think it's a must watch. I think it's a must watch.
I think people still should watch it. I think it's very difficult to watch it now because it's only streaming on Apple TV. So that's a pain in the ass, and no one has Apple TV. Especially since Ted Lasso went off the air, unless you forgot to stop having it charged automatically to your credit card. But I think people still should watch it and have that sense of like kind of the history of the holiday. But there are just many other things at this point that I enjoy more than it, that speak the holiday into me. Like my number 2, for instance.
Your number 2 pick. Go ahead.
This is another animated show that I feel is criminally underrated. It was Fox Sunday show. It followed The Simpsons for a long time, but then for a while would get preempted by football or bounced around in time slots. So it was never even close to the level of popularity as The Simpsons. And it's a different style of humor created by Mike Judge, who also did Beavis and Butthead and Idiocracy and Office Space. It's called King of the Hill. And I love King of the Hill. I'm not going to sit here and say it was ever my favorite show, but it's one of those shows that whenever I go back to it, and this is a bit of recency bias here because it's a show I've been putting on to fall asleep to at night now, and I find myself getting caught up and giggling along with it. But in season 2, they have a Halloween special called Hilloween. And Hank gets hired by the elementary school to build a haunted house for the students. And they have some kind of religious, over-the-top person from the church who wants to put an end to Halloween because it promotes Satanism and demons and unwanted pregnancies and all this. And she goes around basically trying to cancel Halloween from Arlen, Texas. And she's pretty successful. And all Hank wants to do is share a good old-fashioned Halloween with his son, Bobby. And so now he's got to basically get the whole town together and have them say, we're not going to obey this Halloween curfew. We're going to go and have Halloween anyway. And eventually fun wins out in the end. But it's just a very, I love the character of Bobby Hill. Whenever I think back, like Bobby Hill is definitely in my top 10 like TV characters.
What?
Oh, I love Bobby Hill. I love
top
Bobby
10?
Hill. He's got to be up there. That's my purse. God. I don't know you. Man, this flower is wilting. Like King of the Hill is such a dry humor, so it's not for everybody. But I really appreciate it. I love Bobby Hill. And just, he has some lines here, like when they go costume shopping, Hank is like, oh, you could be a devil or you could be a monster or whatever. And Bobby's like, oh, I could get this Dalmatian costume. And Hank goes, a Dalmatian? Well, how's that supposed to be scary? And Bobby just thinks for like a quick moment. He goes, well, they could bite you. And like that silly little line just cracks me up so hard. I think this is a great episode and a great show. So I would encourage all of you to go see King of the Hill. You can stream it on Hulu, or if you have the bundle package on Disney+.
Guys, Halloween is about goblins and ghouls and ghosts. And ghosts, which we're supposed to be afraid of. My number 2 pick shows you that ghosts don't need to be feared. Ghosts could be fun. My number 2 pick is Casper. I love this movie. I love everything about it. The Casper character was such a fun, just like adolescent ghost. And then you get Stretch and Stinky and Fatso. When I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted the plushes of Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso so much as a child, and I never got them. I never got them. I got the Pizza Hut rubber hand puppets. I never got the plushes. And it's like, it's still something I think about to this day. All I wanted was Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso. I love this movie. It's just like a fun, lighthearted. I actually surprisingly could watch it, even though it's very dark and a lot of things happen in the dark in it. There's a couple scenes I didn't care for that I still don't care for because they're scary. I don't like the dark. I did have my adolescent crush on Christina Ricci. This is what started it. I loved her as a child. I really, really like Casper. The huge party at the end where Casper then turns into the teenager. Everything about this movie I really loved. And just, I think it is a must watch for the Halloween season. Have you seen Casper?
I saw it when it originally came out on VHS. I remember
It's a
renting
very
it at the
like
Blockbuster
forgotten.
Video.
I feel like it's a forgotten Disney film, except for my era.
Is it a Disney film?
I know it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that would. Maybe they own the rights now, but I never thought of that as a Disney movie.
I'm almost positive it is.
But
I just saw it on a streaming thing the other day.
I don't know if maybe I was a little bit too old for it at that point. It didn't really connect with me. Definitely not to the extent it did with you. I remember watching it and saying, I guess.
It's not on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Peacock. That's where I saw it, on Peacock. Yep.
So it never had that connection for me. And I might have been maybe a little, just a squidge aged out for it at that point. I don't know how I would. I've never gone back to watch it again.
I enjoy it. I enjoy that one a lot. It's a fun Halloween-ish movie. Now, Joe, I can't wait. You've had such bangers as Aqua Teen Hunger Force and King of the Hill. Yep. And I'm gonna probably threw a Futurama in there, I'm sure.
Nope. No Futurama.
What is your number one must watch?
So this is my favorite Halloween piece of media out there. And it's something I absolutely revisit every year. I think top to bottom, it is genius. And just like Casper, it's available to stream on Peacock. It's the show Community. Season 2, episode 6. The name of the episode is called Epidemiology. And there is a Halloween party on the Greendale campus. And there is some government rationed mystery meats being served here that were not supposed to be served. They end up poisoning people and causing a zombie outbreak, all while the Dean's ABBA Best of ABBA playlist is playing. So there is this whole frantic thing of people in costumes running around. Jokes are being made. If you've ever watched Community, especially if you were watching it in the moment, it was very topical. The humor was very smart. And some episodes absolutely stand out head and shoulders over others. It's a very uneven series, especially as you get toward the later seasons. But in this season 2, season 3 area, you have some real absolute chef's kiss top to bottom episodes. And this Halloween episode is stupendous. This is their second Halloween episode. The first one is not as good, but I enjoy it because it involves Chevy Chase dressing up as the Beastmaster. And as a very proud fan of the Beastmaster, and it's something I can appreciate that I'm sure not everybody does. But in this one, we have Troy and Abed going through their own kind of conflict where Troy still wants to dress up and be goofy with his friend, but at the same time wants to be attractive to girls. So probably shouldn't dress as the guy who's trying to kill aliens. That's just not attractive to girls. Jeff is being Jeff, the cool guy. He just wore a suit and called himself David Beckham. We have Ken Jeong in there, who dressed as figure skater Peggy Fleming just because he wants people to assume he's Christy Yamaguchi or Michelle Kwan. That way he could call them racist. And just the hijinks that go into avoiding, I should say, the zombie outbreak. It's great. The ABBA soundtrack adds so much to it. I'm an ABBA fan, but it fits what they're doing in the episode so wonderfully. So if you're into it and you like that cast of characters, this episode is for you. Definitely, if you haven't already, check it out. If you've never seen the show before, you could probably skip the first 5 or 6 episodes. They're really still finding themselves in that. But by the time you get to this, it's all systems go. And it's just this great peak of a TV series. And this might be the best episode of the series.
Can we agree on one thing? If a show knocks a Halloween episode out of the park, same as a Christmas episode, then I can consider it a decent show. If it doesn't like have those, it's like whenever one knocks, like The Office, man, The Office, every Halloween episode to me, The Office knocked out of the park. Out of the park. I loved it.
I tried thinking of like what my favorite Office Halloween episodes are. But I would remember like bits and like I remember paper mache Michael Scott on his shoulder.
Yeah,
you know, like,
that's
or
Dwight
getting stuck in the jack-o'-lantern.
You almost remember the moments rather than the
rather
episodes.
than like if you say to me like, okay, but what was the plot of that episode?
Home Improvement had
some good ones. I remember thinking about
but
Family Matters. There's like a good one where like Urkel's getting into fights and stuff. So
yeah. I've never seen Community. I've never even given it a chance. I always want to, but it just never like comes up in my, I'm going to start that.
It's at one point, it was my favorite show on TV. I really liked it, but I know Chevy Chase is an asshole, but Chevy Chase is also like one of the comedy voices of my childhood.
He's so funny, man.
Like Fletch, Funny Farm, like the Vacation movies.
All the National Lampoon's movies.
Not European. But the other ones, there's still interest. Like I know everybody hates him, but there's always going to be that interest in me in watching him.
Yep.
And Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, some may know him as, he's so fucking talented, man. And the way once they figure out after the first season is not very good. But once they kind of figure out how to write for these characters and what direction to put them in, that like there's a couple seasons right in that middle where it is just A+ programming. And so there are some top to bottom episodes that are just great, spectacular episodes of television. And this Halloween episode is head and shoulders right there on the top. It's on the Mount Rushmore of Community episodes.
Joe, I'm worried. I'm worried about my number one.
See, I told you I didn't think we were going to have any overlapping picks. I thought the only one we would have, I thought you might have The Simpsons.
No, I that was number 7. I had it as number 7. I'm worried about this one because it's kind of controversial.
Oh, here we go. WWE, John Cena dressing up as Vanilla Ice.
No, guys, I'm gonna go to battle for it because I truly do feel it's a Halloween movie.
Don't do the velocity. Come out here, make your point, and defend it.
Ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 must watch during the Halloween season: Nightmare Before Christmas. To me, it's a Halloween movie. It is a Halloween movie. It is not a Christmas movie. It is, to me, it's like Halloween 1 and then Christmas movie 1B. I truly feel it is more of a Halloween movie than a Christmas movie. Yes, they're trying to get Christmas. Man, I love this. I didn't like it as much as a kid as I do now, man. And I can watch this from literally October till the beginning of the new year all the time. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Like looking back, the animation and like the stop motion that was done in those times and makes an incredible movie is amazing to me. All of that, the songs, Oogie Boogie, This Is Halloween, all of that makes like me so happy just to even think about like and again, I bet most would say it's a Christmas movie. I consider it a Halloween movie. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's easily my number 1 Halloween must watch.
So I'm going to start off by saying, fuck this movie.
Oh, you get out of here. You.
So, hold on.
Asshole.
I'll explain. When this movie first came out, I remember seeing it on video. My brother got it on VHS for Christmas or something. He was a big fan. And it was fine. I wasn't one of those super fans. I wasn't out there, but I liked it enough.
No one was.
Hold on. Years later, I start dating a girl. And like her personality is, I love The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh no.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
This is making me so happy.
Me being the doting boyfriend for a girl who I legit thought I was going to marry at the time. Anytime I would like, bro, the hunting I would go on to find like new Nightmare Before Christmas items or whatever, because she loved collecting stuff. Well, she cheated on me.
Oh my God, I hate that I laughed. It was just how you said it. I know I'm laughing because I laughed at you getting cheated on. Oh no, I feel like such an asshole.
You know, you're laughing because the girl who I thought I was going to marry at one point cheated on me. You think this is the funniest thing you've ever heard? Your poor little lungs can't even handle it. Oh my goodness.
I stopped breathing.
The only good thing that's going to come of this is if I really do kill you with this story.
Yeah. When I popped Joe, I popped because of how you told it, and then I laughed at myself for reacting that way, and then I felt really bad, which made me laugh more
because when you feel bad, you laugh about it. Yeah, I see that.
Do you have a 0 tattoo? Please tell me you have like a 0 ankle tattoo.
No.
He pulls down his shoes and it's a 0 ankle tattoo.
But did we do couples costumes one year as Jack and Sally? Yeah, we did. We certainly did the couples costume. So, needless to say,
so bad right now.
Needless to say, I hate this movie because I will always think of that girl. And if you're wondering how she's doing now, I don't know, but she don't look good on Instagram because I take a look from time to time.
Of course you do. Guys, my number one pick is solidified. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween must-watch.
Every time creepy, I get the urge to look at that girl's Instagram, I say, where's your new significant other's 2 sold-out action figures, baby girl? I don't see them. Otherwise, I think the movies...
That could be one of my favorite moments that we've ever had on this show. Besides the first time that you tried to get the sympathy votes for your parents. This is my favorite.
My sorrow really entertains you. I'm very happy about that.
It makes me so happy.
With friends like you, who needs a fucking enemy, huh?
I literally feel like I did an ab workout because my stomach hurts so much.
Where did you think this story was going to go?
I don't know. I didn't expect that.
Otherwise, I think the movie's fine. But
you sack of shit. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Take that girl out of the equation and it's okay.
Exactly.
It's just the memories that it drags up.
Guys, you can't vote. You can't vote with your heart. You got to vote with your brain, as I always say.
And you got to vote for me right now.
No,
I told you.
He's trying to do it, guys. He's trying to do it again. He tried to do it a couple picks ago. He's trying to do it again. He's trying to do it again.
I let you guys into my heart. I let you guys into my mind.
When I'm on here speaking, bullshit.
We become one, like the Spice Girls. Because tonight is the night where two become one.
It's my favorite Madonna song.
I hate you so much.
Joe, what's your list? Give them your list of your great Halloween must-watches.
You don't know where to find them.
You don't know where to find them. They could be on Max or Plex.
Hold on.
Or Pandora.
I'm going to tell you exactly where to find every single one of them. We're going to start off number 5, the Treehouse of Horror collection from The Simpsons, obviously available everywhere on Disney Plus. Every single one of them on Disney Plus. Number 4, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, The Shaving Juice. That's available on Max. That's season 2, episode 15, if you're interested. Number 3, The Goldbergs. Who Are You Going to Call? Season 1, episode 6, available on Hulu, or if you have the bundle package, can be watched on Disney Plus. Number 2, King of the Hill, Halloween. Season 2, episode 4, once again on Hulu or on Disney Plus with the bundle. And number 1, Community. Epidemiology might be the greatest singular episode of Community there is. It is a fantastic Halloween episode. Season 2, episode 6, available on Peacock.
Guys, after you're done signing up for 90 streaming services to watch Joe's list, you don't even have to watch mine. Just think about mine. You should watch mine because they're must-watches. But just think about that list that Joe put out. And then you think about this. Must-watches when you think about Halloween. Hotel Transylvania at number 5. Muppets Haunted Mansion above it at number 4. A classic, a 1966 classic. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown at number 3. Casper. Ghosts can be friendly after all. The 1995 movie Casper at number 2. And then the Halloween must-watches of all Halloween must-watches. We don't need Futurama or American Dad or whatever else Joe had on his list.
Community, King of the Hill,
Beekman's World is probably number 6, I'm sure.
Force. Oh, fuck Beekman's World. I was a Bill Nye guy.
Oh, What Cheating Girlfriend Hated. Love that show.
Oh,
guys.
I also hate The Little Mermaid for a different girl.
My number 1 Halloween must watch, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It is a Halloween movie that turns into a Christmas flick. 2 for 1.
Actually, it's a Thanksgiving movie because it's taking place between the 2 holidays. So you're not correct at all. That's why there's the door to Thanksgiving Town in the middle of the woods there.
There's the door to all of them. There's the door to all the holidays.
But it's because it's taking place in between at Thanksgiving time.
There's the door to all the holidays, Joe.
Listen.
Does it mean it's the July 4th before Christmas?
I said good day.
Guys.
So Dylan picked 5 things. 4 of them are just spooky or horror in theme and have nothing to do with Halloween, while I gave you a outstanding list of 5 Halloween holiday-centric.
Hold on. It's the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown is so spooky.
That's the one Halloween actual theme thing you put on the list.
Muppets Haunted Mansion is a haunted mansion.
It's not on Halloween. It's on July 13th.
I hate you. So, what do you want to watch? A bunch of D-rated cartoons and F-rated series, or Halloween time classic movies? You pick. You let your voice be heard this Friday. Let your voice be heard this Friday. Sound off in the poll. Sound off in this video version, free on YouTube, youtube.com/Dylan Postl. Leave a comment. Joe, what else can they do to help us out real quick?
Follow us on all social media at AffairsPod. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once we get to 10,000 subscribers, we are giving away that Big Rubber Guys Wrestling Collector Shop exclusive set. Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, sold out. British Bulldogs, great prize there. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if that's where you listen to us. 5 stars, please. It's the only ones that we accept. Or You could head over to patreon.com/PodXchange if you'd like any bonus content or would like to further support the show. We have all kinds of stuff there. Our monthly social dinnering episode, our monthly mystery wrestling theater, and of course, weekly episodes of Shoes, Clues, and other content from Dylan's other show, Going Postl, and of course, our friends at the Game Marks, which feature producer George and his tag team partner, Johnny Clash, or as we call him here,
Caruth!
That's right. So definitely check out patreon.com/PodXchange if you're interested, or if you'd like some merch, PodXchange.shop.
Can we talk about our latest social dinnering that had not only special guest Knick, but then Brian Kurt Hawkins Myers
asked to come in,
asked to join us?
Yes.
Pretty much left Boozing with the Toys early to join us on social dinnering. You never know who's going to show up. Landon might show up one week. Carmez might show up another week. Who knows?
His name is just Gomez.
Why is it Car?
It's a reference to the movie Super Troopers, where he goes Car Ramrod. So we were Car Jomez because I'm Joe and he's Gomez.
Get your foot off the boat.
That was our beer pong team name back in the day. Was Car Jomez.
Gambling in Bushwood? That's Super Troopers, right?
But Car Jomez also available on the Patreon, monthly episodes of the Pop Culture Spectacular. So
guys,
Dylan can be found everywhere. That's right.
You gonna do my plug?
I'll about to.
You can find me on all forms of social media at Dylan Postl.
I thought you were gonna do mine.
At Dylan Postl on all forms of social media. This is like a pig on roller skates right now. I love it. ProWrestlingTees.com/Swoggle. All of my t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. Joe, hit him with your plugs.
At the Joe Shoes, everywhere on social media, ProWrestlingTees.com/Joe Shoes. And come check me out next weekend in Ohio, Girard, Ohio. I'll be there. Danhausen, Brian Myers, Knick, and of course, all his major toys. And don't forget Harley Cameron, Wardlow, and just added the franchise, Shane Douglas.
I didn't even know that. That's a big one for Toy Ohio.
Brian booked him because he wanted to hang out.
Of course he did. Of course he did. He had to give him 3 cases of White Claws, and he's showing up real fast. Guys, thank you. Thank you all for checking out another episode. Make sure to look out for that poll this Friday. Let your voice be heard. You want your voice to be heard? We want to hear it. Also, comment on the YouTube videos. We want to hear what you think about our picks, about our drafts.
And what else you watched during this Halloween season?
Yeah. Let us know. Sound off. Did you watch these? Are these part of your must-watches? I'm sure mine are. I'm sure mine are. Guys, the Christmas one is coming up in December. Also, hey, Joe, can we give him a little spoiler for the next episode?
Sure.
Friends, we're sticking with the Halloween time, and we're going to draft our top trick-or-treat candies. It's going to be a battle. I think this is going to get very, very ugly.
And Dylan promises that he will come in costume to the next episode, since we will be trick-or-treating.
I will come in costume. I feel like we have to eat our candies as we episode, by the way.
I can't really eat candy anymore.